All right. Well, hello and welcome to Stock Market Mutterings and Recap for October 2nd, the daily edition. That's right, the all-new daily edition of Stock Market Mutterings. So those who follow me already know this. If this is the first time you're watching, every weekend I do a Stock Market Muttering video where I talk about what we've been trading at the lincolnlist.com, the types of setups that we use, and the stocks that I'm looking at for the week. Now, I started thinking over the last couple of weeks, so much of what we talk about on Sunday never plays out through the course of the week. I mean, that's just trading. The market's unpredictable. Stocks themselves are unpredictable. So I thought it would be nice if I start sharing some of my daily ideas with you, some of the stuff that we have been trading at the Lincoln List, some of the trades that we do, the good and the bad, and showing you how we train the people in our room to become professional and consistent traders, and then go over some of my ideas for the following day. So we'll see how it goes. I'll try a couple of these. We'll see how it goes. If you like it, you do. If you don't, then, well, you don't. I'll just quit doing them. So this was, first I'm going to say this was a great start to the month. One of the better days I've had over the last month or so. So really, really good start. I put the session notes. This is the live trade calls that come from the room. You're more than welcome to test those against timing and sales. You'll see that those are legit entries and legit time frames. That's all in Pacific time, by the way, in Pacific time. But what I don't want to do here in these mutterings is talk about how much money I made. If you want to know, you can add it up. The shares, how many shares I bought are right there or sold. It's all right there. You can add up. But I don't want to do that because that's not really what's important here. What I'm trying to do with these is talk to you about the kind of stocks that we trade, the entries that we look for, and for you to try to build your trading around something like that. Because as I always said, it's not about making money, it's about making good trades. If you just focus on doing the right things, and you just focus on your discipline and your setups, the money's going to take care of itself. You know, it will be there when you need it. And plus, my risk tolerance might be more than yours or weaker than yours. So how much money I make is completely irrelevant. It's just more important that you trade your own risk, you trade your own style. But remember that, guys, it doesn't matter. You never look at money. I know this is all about making money, but you'll make more money if you just do what you're supposed to do. Focus on your discipline, focus on making good trades. The rest will take care of itself. So obviously the workhorse here was NVDA. I made a lot more money on Netflix, but that's something that I had held for a day or so. And I just want to talk about this one because this is something that we've been talking about a lot in the market mutterings. It's something that we've seen a pattern. Remember, sometimes common sense goes a lot further than your technical analysis. And one of the things, the highlights that I had made in the market mutterings this weekend was that the market is eating up these upgrades. You saw it last week. I made several tweets about this. Is if these things that get upgraded, the market's they're just buying these things at any price, it seems like. And we saw that with SQ, we saw that with Apple, and then on Friday, NVIDIA gets upgraded. Now, one of the things also that happens a lot is when these things get a whiff of their daily chart highs. Again, I'm going to bring up SQ because this is exactly what happened. SQ gets upgraded, it goes on a romp, then it breaks daily highs, which was 92, high 92s to 93. Been the highs here on 9/11 and 9/12, which was like 92, let's say $93. And then it ends up rallying all the way to 100. So they're not just done on this one upgrade. So we were kind of looking at this NVIDIA today to see how it would react. Well, it got a little boost of news there, having its price target and its upgrade reiterated, and that just added to this. And when it broke through the daily chart highs, you just look over here, it was on September 4th, daily chart highs were 285.22. This red line going right across this chart was that high. It just makes a beeline for it right in the morning. And then it just kind of flags there just for about 10-15 minutes, and then it's off to the races. The rest of the day ends up all the way up at $292 at one point, you know, making about a $9, $10 run here. So this is just something that came from a common sense standpoint. Yes, I know it's a little bit overbought. It's a little bit rich in its taste right here. But this is just the way the market is right now. They're buying these stocks, and you're better off buying these right now and riding these trends than it is trying to pick up something that's just nobody's interested in during the course of the day, like a BABA. Like nobody's wanting BABA today, so, or Wayfair. You know, Wayfair being down $4, a normally very, very strong stock. So anyway, going forward, keep that on your mind, is that upgrades until the earnings season. We got earnings season coming up here real soon. But these upgrades, daily chart highs, just have been absolute monsters in these stocks, and they may seem to be overbought or seem to be steep, but they just continue to go. Now, one of the things I did a little bit different based on that is normally I would sell into the first spike. I do that most of the time, and you'll see down there on the session notes that this time I decided to do it a little bit differently. I said, this is something I rehearsed or talked about with the room last week. I said, I'm going to keep a partial on one of these for the remaining part of the day. And I did that. I did that today here on NVDA, and it worked out pretty good. Got me an extra $4 or $5 per share. Again, you can do the math there if you want to see how this trade turned out financially. But it was a really, really good trade. But the most important thing about this here, again, two things to look forward. Daily chart highs. I mean, daily chart highs or range break highs on a daily have always been a good trade. When you get to a level like that and you're taking out a longer term level of resistance or support, you're usually going to see an exaggerated move into that direction. But we're starting to see now that it just doesn't seem to matter what, like Netflix just blowing up $8 to $10 a share itself. So NVIDIA. Now, if you're looking at this for tomorrow, you're not in this, you want to know how this thing, I don't have any idea how this is going to play out. Maybe you get a run to 300 bucks, but this is a pretty stretched daily chart. I mean, let's not forget that a week ago, later part of September, this stock was down around $260. So if it does go to 300, talk about a $40 move over the last week and a half of trading on just an upgrade, right? I mean, that's pretty stretched. Now, it's done it before. It goes hot and cold. You can see back here in late August, it goes from 245 to 282. So 40 bucks is not something that's uncommon. You're just going to have to watch it here. I think you got to be a little bit more particular about the setup here because you are just not real overbought, but you're stretched a little bit. You're definitely stretched here on the daily. It does need to back test, I think, a little bit more of these levels down towards 286, maybe 284. But if it does flush or it opens up that way, then I would look at a trade like that. But for right now, you got to lower your size, I think, a little bit here and look for some better setups because probably much of the meat of this move has already been taken up here over the last 2 days, so this NVIDIA. Now, one of the things you also need to do if you want to have a long-term prosperous career is you got to learn how to go both ways with stocks. You got to learn how to drop your bias. We talk about that all the time, going long, going in short. Another idea that I had was BA, and I wanted to long this one too. That was in the market mutterings yesterday. And I just completely missed it. And that's going to happen from time to time as we go through our trading. We're going to miss stuff. And one of the things that you can do often is if you miss it and it gets out, rather than complain and bitch and moan about all the money you left on the table, you can short the stock too. If you wanted to buy it and it goes up too much, you could short, you are allowed to do that. So what we were looking at here is this thing was just going from the close on Friday is from 371, gaps up to 374. And then it just runs straight pretty much to 381. Now, one of the things I like, that I really look for, excuse me, is daily range. Is when something reaches a high level on during the day where it's above what it normally trades, then I usually look to go the other way. So, man, maybe you get $2 to $3 on a good day with Boeing. And here it was plus 10 at the time, I think it was. And I just told the room, look, if we get up around 382, I'm going to go in with a starter short. And it worked out pretty good. You'll see it traded back and it faded back into the VWAP. I'm going to put up this bottom chart right here is a 5-minute. So I was just kind of looking for this thing to retest the VWAP. Again, I've done a video about the importance of VWAP. It's a great price indicator. It's not the holy grail of trading, but it's a good tool to use to find some nice little spots. And then it just bounces again. So right when I covered, I actually wanted to buy it down at VWAP for the bounce, but I wasn't fast enough. By the time I covered, this thing just shoots right back up, then makes a new high, which again leaves me with no other alternative but to try to short it again because I'm like, I'm not buying it up here. So I waited for the right time. I got a nice little short again. You'll see that was a good trade. So that was 2 times trading that for plus $2 to the short side. So again, sometimes your plan doesn't work because just because your plan A doesn't work, that's why you have a plan B. You need to have all of these things in your toolkit if you want to stay consistent throughout long periods of time, because all of us can get rich in bull markets. If you buy anything on a bull market like today when the Dow's up 208 points, a lot of stuff you buy is going to be okay because it's up so much. But what are you going to do in choppy markets? What are you going to do when markets sell off? It doesn't have to be a crash. It could just be markets pulling back into back testing lower levels, moving averages and stuff like that. You have to be versatile like that if you really want to have a long-term career at trading. So going forward, there's not a whole lot of, some of this stuff just needs to chill for a minute. I mean, I would be looking at BA on any gap up for another short, just for a trade. I'm not talking about a long-term investment here. I'm just trading. And, you know, possibly Tesla. Now, I did take a loss today on this Tesla because I cheated a little bit. And when I say cheated, I was looking for a range break here of 309, and I buy into it at like 308. I misread the chart there, and sometimes that happens. And what I mean by cheating there is you guys have a confirmation and a trigger point for you to enter every trade. If you go in before it triggers or before it hits your alert based on your strategy, that's cheating. I mean, you're bending it, and what you're doing there is you're not waiting for the stock to confirm, so you're taking away your percentage of winning by gambling a little bit, right? You're cheating. So you're like, so when I did it, I was basically guessing that it was going to do that because it didn't confirm, so it was a guess. It cost me a few $100, but all in all, it turned out okay. But looking at this thing now that this for the short term, now that this BS is behind Tesla about the tweet, the fine, and all that good stuff, you got to be looking at a possible test up towards $316. So, you know, some of you are going to hate to hear that, but that's just my short-term thing. So I'm going to leave it at that. Again, it was a good day. You guys need help. You know where I'm at. Visit thelincolnlist.com. Click on the Trade Room tab. You can start trading with us live right away. Going into tomorrow, keep really close watch on these upgrades. Stuff that gets upgraded and stuff that's taken out daily chart highs is a recipe for big price moves. Watch those. Get yourself on the upgrade list first thing tomorrow, and then take a look at this Tesla. So we'll see how these go over the next couple of days. If you have questions, send them to support@thelincolnlist.com. Thanks for watching the video. Trade well. I'll talk to everyone tomorrow.